All right, if it's only you that's going to be sending and receiving emails from the CRM and you're using a free stock email, meaning it doesn't end at your domain name, something like, at yahoo.com, or maybe it's an iCloud email or Comcast email or one of the other free email providers, but you're not using the free Gmail or Outlook emails, so not at gmail.com or at outlook.com, then this is how you want to set up your email. However, if you are using the free Gmail or Microsoft Outlook, you'll want to set it up a different way and watch that video. And you can do this if you're using at your domain name as well. However, I wouldn't recommend it because you lose out on some features that are available to you because you're using an at your domain name email. I would just recommend setting up a subdomain. Then you're prepared for growth. If you do ever add team members, you'll be able to do things like have unlimited aliases of emails. So you could do sales at or info at or accounting or office at. Have the ability to customize your email. Plus, if you use some of the automations with this method and you made a mistake and say sent out like 1,000 emails on accident, you could actually damage the reputation of your email. You could get flagged as spam and then have deliverability issues. But if you set up a subdomain, you're protected from that kind of stuff. So my point is you can do this if you are the only one that's going to be using emails and you're using at domain name for your email address, but I just wouldn't recommend it. But there are some use cases like you don't have access to your DNS records, like you paid somebody to set up your website, you don't know how to get in there, they won't give you access, or you're just kind of nervous and don't want to do that. This is a little bit easier, but enough about that. Let's actually do it. So you go to settings and then you go to email services, and then you're going to press this add service. You'll hit this drop down, and Yahoo and SendGrid are pretty easy to where you just have to enter your email and password. But if you're using one of the others, they all work. You just have to press other. Now for the provider name, you can just put something that'll help you remember it. So I usually just put, iCloud, Yahoo, whatever it is, but it really doesn't matter what you put here. Then for the SMTP server that provider uses, you can usually just Google it. You can also go into your email, fiddle around in the settings and the info, and you can usually find it. Let's just look at iCloud real quick. I'm just going to Google what is iCloud's SMTP server and port number, and it spits it out right there. This is the server and this is the port number that it uses. So you'd copy paste the server, enter the port number, and then enter your username, email, and password. Usually username and email are the same, but can be different. And your password, and then you just press save. And you're going to get something that looks like these, where it'll have this little symbol, and then whatever you named it right here, whatever provider name you gave it, is what it'll say. And then you just click to turn that on. Now after you set that up, you'll notice this enable reply tracking defaults to on, and you want to make sure that you leave this on for this configuration, because essentially what you just did was you allowed the CRM to send emails from the email address that you're using. So blah 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 at yahoo.com. Now you can send emails from there through the CRM. And when somebody replies to that email, when you have the enable reply tracking on, when they reply, it's going to go to the CRM and it's going to show up in your conversations. This is basically like an inbox for all your messages, and you'll see the reply there. Now the caveat to that is you won't see the replied email in your regular inbox. So in order to get notified either with an email in your regular inbox or some other kind of notification, you're going to go to automation and you're going to find the folder labeled SMTP notifications. Open that up and you'll see that there's two automations here. One, you'll get an email for those replies, and another option where you can get a notification for the replies. And whatever you prefer, I would just publish the workflow if you prefer notifications. And if you want to turn that off eventually, you just go draft. Same with this one if you want to turn that on, publish. And as you get used to the CRM, you might change this over time. The one thing I do like about the notification is that you'll get a notification on your phone, and then if you click the notification, it'll take you right into the conversation within the app ready to reply. If you turn on the email, you'll get an email that looks like this. It'll say reply, and it'll have the RE dash whatever the subject was for the reply. And then if you open it up, it'll show you the contact that replied, and then you can click there to go straight to the contact and see the reply and message back. And over time, you might decide you don't need these notifications anymore, so you can always turn them off. But I definitely recommend turning at least the email on just as you get used to it. With the notifications, if you ever do add more users, even if they're not going to use email, you might want to modify this. If we open this up and we go to the notification, you'll see it's set to all users. So if there's more users than just you, I would change this to particular user and then select yourself. Also, for this email notification to work properly, it is set to send it to whatever email is in the business profile under business email. This email right here is where that notification is going to go. So if for some reason you wanted it to go to a different email, you would open this up, click on this, and change the to email address right here to the email address of your choice. With this configuration, if you do use an automation to send emails, if you leave this blank, it's going to default to whatever email you have right here. So you'll want to make sure that this email matches the email you set up here. Or if you fill this out, make sure you're filling it out with the email that you set up here. Otherwise, whatever SMTP service you're using is most likely not going to allow you to send an email from a different email address that isn't correct. All right, and that's how you're going to set up your email if you're solo using a free email service that's not Microsoft or Google.